each of these devices. So this is the sensor which will be going in the actual apiary there, in a shaded area, or shaded most of the time. That will then just sort of give me the temperature and the humidity in the apiary itself, which we use as a baseline. Now all I've got is the battery, which is in here, and then if I push to show you here, as I push it in the battery, you can see the light just came on just over here. Now that's live. That's now transmitting every few sort of minutes, and we'll show you how we actually capture that. So here we are. I'm just showing you where I'm going to be putting this sensor here. And you can see there the little white bit there. That's where I've actually going to put it. And as I get closer, what you can see is they all even have slots. So rather than screwing it in, as you can see, they've even got some cable ties. So that's what I'm doing. I like life nice and easy, so I'll show you once that's up. Okay, well there it is. It's up. The sensor to tell me the temperature and humidity here. You can see it's in a relative shade area. The sun actually comes behind me to my left, so it's shouldn't be getting any direct sun in the middle of the day. Just for those who are interested, the purple plum colour thing to the left of it, that is one of my wasp traps that I have out, because just there is one of the hives, and that will be the other hive. And what I wanted to do now is, we've just had a look at how the sensor in the actual apiary is done. What I want to do now is this one. This is the temperature and humidity, the TH2 sensor. The 2 stands for second generation. So it's temperature sensor and the humidity sensor that goes in the hive. Now I'm just going to pull this little card out here, and if you can see here, just take it out and we should hopefully see the light come on. I'll just take a couple of seconds, and then we should see the sensor actually just start flashing, and that will mean that that is now live. There you are, just like that. So as soon as we see that sensor, it just flashes a couple of times or three, just to show us that it is now alive, but then that will stop to continue to save energy going forward. But at least we now got that. That's now sending and transmitting data, just like the external sensor that does exactly the same thing. So now we're going to just fit in and install these Broodminder devices. So first of all, what I'm going to do is show you how I'm going to put this in. Now, as I mentioned, you're going to have this bit, if I just show you, with the number, and if anybody wants to take a note, you can do so. Then you can actually find it on, when you're doing any searching on the Broodminder system. I'm going to just put this over here. Now, because it's September and I'm about to feed, I'm going to avoid the hole where the feeder will be. But what I'm going to do is then just put it on top of, and I will do a close-up video, in the middle of the brood, but with that sticking out. And the reason why we have that sticking out is because then we can tell which sensor it actually is. So there we are, and that's it. We'll just leave that there, and that sensor will start sensing and transmitting the actual data about the hives to the Broodminder app via the Wi-Fi. We now finally got the third sensor here. So what I'm going to do here, this is the scales which I'm going to be using to sort of obviously measure the weight of the hive at any one point. And what I'm going to do is first of all just activate it. So first of all I'm going to just undress it, because it literally feels like there's so many different parts to this. Nice and simple, very well made Broodminder, so I can't fault that. This is the rain cover that will stay on here, so we keep that on when you actually do it, and as I mentioned earlier, you can actually replace that. This will be the card that I just pull out to get the connection actually happening. But what I want to do first of all is just take this off and show you the scale. So this is a scale. I pointed out earlier the actual sensors that for the scale, the weighing part. There's little buttons in there that will take the actual weight. I've just sellotaped this in. This is the board. Now you can actually have, and in the DIY versions that you can do, the ones that you can use yourself and adapt yourself, you can make them to fit whatever hives you actually want, and even if you don't have a bee use, you can use it for this purpose. But you can actually now attach up to 4 sensors to one of these boards, so you can have that. And you can also, what they're designing is now is so that if you've got other qualifying type of sensors, you can connect them to this board. It doesn't have to be a Broodminder device. So ultimately over time you'll be able to use whatever that data is yourself if you've got a particular use, or you could also make it available. And as Broodminder sees these things happening, they're going to try and develop tools to allow people to access this data again that use of and sharing that data for crowd science purposes is your choice, nobody else. So when you sign up, it's up to you whether you choose to actually share that data of any of your devices at all. So what I'm going to do now is, as I mentioned, just pull that paper out here, this bit here, and then what I'm going to show you, just like the other devices, as I turn it, oh, the battery just flew out, just put that back in, hopefully, if I do it here, where we are, and then hopefully we'll just see another light. You just see that up there at the top. Now that just shows you that this is now connected again, and this is now transmitting and live. So now that we've activated it all previously, I'm going to use my right hand, because I'm right-handed, to be a bit stronger, because these are quite heavy hives, to put that there. And that's it. Maybe the lid wasn't on properly. And that's it. But because I'm going to put one on the other side as well, maybe I'll do it while I'm actually here, I am going to end up leveling it up again. Otherwise, if I just did it for one side, we would have to make sure the other side was level. Because if we don't do that, the comb is not going to be level. So, but now we've just got one on either side. The reason I'm going to do that, even though that side is empty, I've activated it, is I'm going to actually be able to then monitor the difference in weight on either side. When this is with the colony at the moment, this scale should just be heavier than the other scale, but it is one hive, so there will be a mixer. What I'm also going to do is put in a couple of empty frames in this side, which doesn't have any bees in it. And the reason I'm going to do that is just as a control. I've got the thermometer and the humidity sensor here in the apiary. I've got the one here with the colony over the brood. I'm going to put one in this side so we can say, what does a hive do by itself with no bees in? And then what does it do when we've actually got bees in? What are the bees doing? I think it'll be just a nice little experiment and monitor. So during winter, this side should get quite cold, and this side hopefully will not. But let's see as we look through the sensors. So all I'm going to do is put this in here. Not really too fussed exactly where I'm doing it, but I do need something to balance the sensor. So there's a sensor here. I'm going to put that on top, just like with the other side. Put that on top, and I'm going to leave it there. Nice and simple, easy, and I'm really looking forward to the science that this will give us all, and I will share that with you all. Thank you so much. If you find the sensor or the whole thing about Broodminder of interest, please ask me some questions. Do have a look at their own site. I will put links down about Broodminder, as well as for Melissa, which is the European suppliers, and so you can see what Lorenzo and his team are doing with Broodminder, working with the Broodminder team. But also do keep following us. I will do follow-ups of both the Broodminder and Melissa and how I'm actually using it, because it should be hopefully interest to all of us. Thank you so much. Please do subscribe. Tick that bell if you want to have notifications of whenever we do any new videos, and please do leave comments.